Okay, and good morning. We've got this recording. This is Alex McMillan with Team Blanchette and McMillan. Craig is in Africa with his lovely wife Anita, and they are exploring all through those areas that I know we all would like to go be at sometime. And I'm just really excited because it's a testimonial to the power of Take Shape for Life, and something that was shared with me a long time ago that I want to just really highlight is that you want to build Take Shape for Life around your life. You don't really want to try and mold your life so much around it. And when I say your life, you have to be very clear on what kind of life you really want. And Craig, who is the person who shared this program with me and who's mentored me, and I've had obviously other mentors with David and Terry and Tim Cox and Jonathan Carter, but one thing Craig shared with me is he talked to me about that and making sure, Alex, you're really still doing and exploring the things in your life that matter most. And him being with Anita and him doing some of the ministry that he does and him spending time traveling and being around the wheelchair campers and the outreach that he does and speaking he does is super important to him. And he's been able to build a global level business. And those of you who are fairly new to Take Shape for Life know that that's a financially free type of an income. But what's neat the most is that you get the time along with the freedom. So not only are you helping a lot of people achieve success in their health, but you've helped a lot of people achieve financial success in their life in such a way that they are free to kind of be what they want to be. And I love the fact that Craig is in Africa right now. He's being there for 2 weeks, and this call is still going on without him. And we hit record months of new clients getting started last month in this organization. New executive directors were born in this organization. We know our volume is always associated with how many people are getting healthy, because people won't continue to stay with you and definitely won't be ordering anything if they're not getting healthy. We hit records while Craig was out of the country. So this is amazing, and I just can't wait for me to go out of the country and you guys to keep that going. I'm just kidding. But no, but really that's a testimonial to how this works. And so with that said, we decided about 2 months ago to stop doing all of the talking and the sharing ourselves. If you remember, Craig and I, we love chatting, we love talking, we love sharing new things, but we felt that this isn't actually empowering. So what I want to encourage you this morning is I want to encourage you as you're building your team, whether they're brand new, they haven't even gotten started, like Dan who just joined us, Dan Steeth, I think that's how you say his name. Dan, Craig invited him to start sharing on the webinar prior to him even becoming a coach. Cammie, I know we had you on the webinar while you were still in the process of exploring, and you became a coach, and just right there, getting you on right in the beginning. Nikki, who's on the call this morning. Nikki, are you still with us? I want to introduce you, so I want to make sure I've got your sound. I saw that you might have left, but I'm not
here.
Perfect. I'm going to have you share your video here in just a second. But Nikki, who's with us, this is also a prime example of this. So this is my encouragement, is that you would have your prospective pre-coaches, Nikki's not a coach yet, introduce them to the team and the group so that they know this isn't just the you show. This isn't just the Alex show. And one thing Nikki asked me early on, are there really stay-at-home moms who build this business? And I thought, wow, you got to really come onto this call, because half of us on this call, Martin included, is a stay-at-home mom. Well, maybe not Martin, but a lot of people are stay-at-home moms. My kids are now in school, but over the summer I was a stay-at-home dad, so they would be Legos in that room and reading a book in the other room during my support calls. But Nikki, if you could just take a moment and just give us a brief 1-minute story about how we know each other, just briefly about how you heard about Take Shape for Life and why you decided to partner. And right now you've just started as a client, and I think you're on day 2 or 3. So just a real quick introduction of yourself.
Yeah, I just started day 3 this morning. I'm down just about 4 pounds. I want to make my life healthier. I have a 2-year-old that's out in the living room right now, and I want to make sure that his life is healthy. My husband, years ago, with the help of Alex, lost a lot of pounds, and so we just want to stay healthy. I've lost 60 pounds from another program, but it wasn't transferable to other people. It's too strict. And no one wanted to do it. No one wanted to get healthy. So I was trying to find something that other people could do and have a great life and feel that it wasn't too strict, that they couldn't do it. I want my family growing up healthy. I had gestational diabetes, therefore I have a higher chance of getting diabetes. My son, because he was a product of gestational diabetes, has a 50% higher chance of getting diabetes. Also, my husband is also a product of gestational diabetes, therefore he also has a higher chance of diabetes. So we have it in our family, a higher probability of getting it. So I want to make sure that we can do everything we can so we don't have diabetes at all in our life, and we can be healthier and be a great image to everybody else.
That's phenomenal, and I really applaud you on sharing that. And I'm actually glad that you shared about how you made the decision with another program, and here you are now, because it's so important for coaches to understand that it's about transferability. And you said that, like you were out preaching the good news about how good it feels to be healthy. And I asked you, how's that working for you? And your answer was, I said, how many people have joined you so far? And you said,
none.
and it was like, wow, how would you like to be able to empower and impact them? So I just want to share with Nikki's story how important it is for us not to overlook people just because of another program. You know, I love Jesse and obviously Nikki now, and my little girl Brianna was the flower girl, one of the flower girls in your wedding, and I remember that, and I remember seeing you. How many pounds heavier were you back then?
60 pounds.
60 pounds heavier, and you were beautiful then, and you're just, I don't know, you're about ready to like, I don't know, you explode now, but it's one of those things, because you were beautiful inside and out, but you just, your personality and who you were. And I remember talking about how Jill and I would be talking about, boy, we'd like to really work with Jesse and Nikki someday. We were at a swimming pool at a birthday party, I think it was about a year ago at Matthew's party. Yes. And I think that's about when you started getting your head around getting healthy, because you started transforming after that. And, you know, we hadn't seen you for a while. So when I saw you, I was like, this is great. You look so phenomenal. Whereas some coaches might actually say, oh, no, she lost weight another way. Like, come on, really? Is it really all about you? Like, oh, I didn't get her, you know? But I was excited for you. And I said, you know what? We've got to talk to Jessie and Nikki about her coaching. And Jill asked me, well, she's done it a different way. I go, hey, let's just talk to them, because I know there may be other needs. And so for you and your family, aside from wanting to help other people, what are some of your other needs and desires that you're hoping that Take Shape for Life will help you be able to achieve?
Well, I know you've mentioned, I mean, I haven't gotten through the book all the way, but just the healthy mind, healthy body, healthy finances. Mm-hmm. You know, we've been trying, we've been married for 5 years almost now. So since then, we've been trying to be debt free, and we were able to achieve that by other means before Landon was born. Mm-hmm. But we want to make sure everyone else has healthy finances. I know that's a big thing right now, is trying to be debt free. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we want to be happy, we want to be healthy, we want to be around for our great-grandchildren years and years from now. Mm-hmm.
And that is it. And people ask, how do you help other people? You share your story, and you ask them, what do you want? And just like we've been doing in this. You all know my story. I've probably met with most of you guys about, you know, it's very similar to yours. That's why we're on the call together. And we're not basically on this call because of how we do what we do. We're here because of why we want to do what we do. We believe in the same thing. We want to have a healthy body, a healthy mind, and healthy finances. And ultimately, we want to help other people. This is one of the most giving vehicles I've ever used before. So with that said, Nikki, I want to thank you for sharing your story with us this morning. And I want to encourage all the coaching team to have your pre-coaches share just like Nikki did this morning. And if you could email me with any pre-coaches that are exploring, and Nikki, you are in the evaluation stage of just trying the program out yourself. And we said that was very important for you to experience it. And you were concerned that you would not be able to lose any weight because you ate so healthy prior. Do you remember that? Like you were saying, am I going to gain weight is what you said? Go ahead and share.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is day 3, therefore I feel like I'm eating a whole bunch of horrible food because I haven't had processed food for quite a while. I mean, I flip up days every now and then just because my husband's not, wasn't on the diet, therefore he'd bring food into the house. But other than that, we've been eating, clean eating. So eating stuff out of bags, I feel naughty. But I mean, I feel great so far. I'm tired, but I have a 2.5-year-old that doesn't want to sleep in his bed right now. So
yeah,
I think no matter what I do, I'm gonna be tired.
and I appreciate that honesty, because right now you're in day 3, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so day 4 is when your body starts to switch over as you're staying focused and you're following the 5 and 1, and you're drinking your water, and you're focusing on just the basic actions, and you're keeping your exercise low. I think we talked about not doing anything more than 30 minutes of walking, whatnot, other than
Yes.
landing around. And I know from just chatting with you, you've been doing all that. Day 4 is when your body gets into that fat burn stage, and that's my first role, is to help you get into that so you can actually experience your energy to come back up. But one of the things that's been happening with you is that you were at 140 what when you started 3 days ago?
145 exactly.
And so today 140 what?
141.4.
Yeah, so you were kind of wondering, am I going to gain weight, right?
Right.
and that you've obviously been pleasantly surprised, so that's great.
Yes.
Okay, well, good. Well, so everybody else, please invite a guest on and have them share, and we'll give you the first 5 minutes with your guest, and just send me an email letting me know who you'd like to bring on. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and figure out who we've got that is going to share this morning. And I think since Tim has the chance of being able to get called away, I'd love for us to have Tim go ahead and share his summary of chapter 8 and 9, unless he needs a little more time, because I know he's been firefighting for us and saving people's lives. Tim?
He's not at his desk right now.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and move on then to another person. And do we have
He's back.
What's that?
He's back.
All right. Mr. Tim Geisler, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you ready to just give us the teaser taste of what you got out of chapter 8 and 9, and why we should all dive back into that and check it out?
Yeah. A couple of biggest things is Dr. A's version of the food pyramid, how he reworked it for it to make sense. Obviously, the current one is pretty old and probably hasn't been updated since it was created. So he took the same concept and put the Dr. A twist on it, so it makes sense. So it actually works on the glycemic index is what he's looking at, as opposed to the way it was originally designed. And with those changes, he's able to make nutrition fix disease in ways that modern medicine can't. A couple of biggest things is learn to fuel the body the right way with small meals every few hours. That's what you were taught in the beginning in phase 1. Also using the 9-inch plate method to visualize your portion controls. So as you move out of phase 1 and you're into phase 2 of your journey, kind of a way that people start eyeballing their stuff and then kind of get away from measuring their portions. You can just kind of look at it by using the 9-inch plate method. Again, utilizing the glycemic rule for nutrition as a guide to keep your insulin pump under control. Obviously, your insulin pump spikes up your sugar, which opens up your fat storage cells. So if we can keep that under control by utilizing his food pyramid in a way to help keep that under control. And there's a difference in all foods, either your fruits and your vegetables and your starches and your protein. All of them are a little different. Obviously, again, the better they taste, chances are probably not the best thing for you. But being able to regulate that stuff and hang on, I'm trying to read my notes here. Even though they may be especially like your fruits, which is 50% of your food pyramid, even though some of the ones that are higher in sugars They taste better, so they're more appealing, but, they're also better than the alternative of grabbing some kind of fast food or some kind of processed food. If you can, and it depends on where you're at in your journey too. The further along your journey, the closer you are to your optimal weight, then you can kind of utilize that stuff in moderation. Let's see. It also talks about revisiting how making sure you understand how healthy fats play an important role in your body and in your health. They are key roles, so a lot of people forget to include those into their diet, but they play a key role in muscle retention and just cell rejuvenation. All that stuff is a key part of it. Most people get healthy fats from unhealthy fats in their diet, and they forget to add the healthy ones, which makes a big difference. Talks a lot about shopping, once you're on this phase, how, it kind of be intimidating going to a grocery store thinking that you got to, buy a lot of special stuff or things that don't taste good. It's not necessarily the case. If you visit chapters 8 and 9, he'll tell you the secrets how to do it. But typically, if you're in this phase, you've already been through phase 1, so hopefully your body's acclimated to, the new stuff. Stay away from processed stuff and try and get as fresh produce as you can, vegetables. And nutrition, obviously nutrition education is the key to long-term optimal health. So you really got to understand and read and educate yourself on it so that the work that you put in the beginning will last for a long time. A key point I got, reduce your sodium input as much as possible. And also, one of the big things was hydration, staying hydrated. Water just makes your body do things it's supposed to do. And typically, most people, the way I was in the past, I would drink when I was thirsty. Well, you're about, an hour, 2 hours in dehydration. By the time your thirst quenchers kick in to say you're thirsty, you've already kind of 2 hours behind the 8 ball. But, so monitoring that and also your urine level. I mean, every time you go to the bathroom, it's a way to check and see if you're hydrating yourself throughout the day. If your urine starts changing colors to look that's pretty much what I got out of chapter 8 and 9. There's a lot of details into it. He put a lot of charts in there that you can kind of reference. So there's a lot of good nutritional information for your journey.
Well, I thought that was a phenomenal summary, and there's a few reasons why I want to say that. First off, Tim, your language, you've totally moved to optimal health. As you're sharing the information, even in between as you're paraphrasing, I hear you talking about while you're on your journey and as you are basically making choices that serve you. And as you're talking about, just the way you summarize in your language, and it's just massive. See, those of you who maybe don't know, I knew Tim before he started this journey. I met him once before. And Tim, how much have you changed so far? You and your wife Jessica, both of you guys.
I think I've changed. I say a 180. People say 360, and you're right back where you started. So I've done a 180. Now, not to say that I'm cured and fixed by no means. I mean, I still have 30 years of temptations and bad habits that, I have to wrestle with every day. But, the support from my wife and the support from all you guys and the whole Take Shape for Life has made it an easier, a much easier choice to make. But, it's making those choices every day, and when you make them every day, it's repetition and it's habit, so I think I've done a 360. I'm not cured by no means. I'm no Dr. A by no means, but, I think I'm on the road there to get there.
Well, you really truly are on the path, and you are on the road. One of the things that you said, and I want to let us know this, we don't have to be Dr. A. We don't have to know all that. What we want to do is we want to lead people to the information he's got for us, just as much as we lead them to the other information from other great leaders. And by you summarizing this book, it made me think of several clients that could utilize chapter 8 and 9 right now, especially with principles such as how Dr. A's flipped the pyramid on its head, and he's created a new way of keeping our body in balance. And when you do that properly, as you were sharing, your body can do the things it's supposed to do. This is our new day and age. Eating high glycemic foods doesn't serve us very well anymore. We're not bust and hump out in the field like we used to. We're sitting here on desks and talking to people on smartphones across the country. You know, we are getting in our car and we're driving places. We are taking escalators and elevators. We're using remote controls. So we don't need the high glycemic fuels. I mean, if you're going to go run the Olympics or do track athlete stuff, by all means, you know, better down some more carbohydrates.
He also, you know, revisits the thing that, you know, I felt for a long time, but, you know, I eat those processed foods and I eat that quick impulse thing. And, you know, in 5 minutes, I wish I could throw it up because I feel horrible, you know, and he talks about how that just brings you down in there too. So he kind of just revisits a lot of that stuff to just reemphasize how that short-lived gratification of that food or that meal, you know, how it affects you for the rest of your day, you know?
Oh, it's so great to be sensitive to what's wrong and right for your body. And that's what it is. We become desensitized when we are just mindlessly doing that. And so that is right. And there's a couple last things that you shared. Does anybody else want to comment or jump in on any things that they saw in chapter 8 or 9 or from Tim's summary before we move on? Well, the last thing I want to just comment and remark on, and by all means in the future, guys, feel free to take notes and jump in on the next speaker. And as you are listening to the next speaker, start writing down in your notebook, like I'm doing here, the names of people and the topic that you'd want to share with certain clients or pre-clients, etc. You said something about if it tastes really, really good, it might be something you may not want to have as much. And it made me start thinking about we have to make a decision between satisfying our instant gratification of taste versus our long-term desire for health, feeling amazing. Because, yeah, you're right. People go, well, I shouldn't have to sacrifice flavor. Well, you got to remember, you live in a day and age where things are engineered to taste like not like food, like things that they're just giving you like crack for your brain. And we got to be careful about addictive foods. Like salted and roasted and smoked almonds, I know are an addictive food for me, so I choose not to buy them and bring them in the house. I choose to only put a few almonds in my hand and the rest go in the cupboard if I can't see them. Those are some of the things like that. One of the things you shared about water is huge. When you have, I like how simple you put this. Water makes your body do what it's supposed to do. And that's like, okay, let's just summarize it. If you don't have enough water, your body's not doing what it's supposed to do. Love it. All right. Anybody else want to share before we move on?
Yeah, did I do the wrong book?
What?
Did I do the wrong book?
Wait, did somebody give you a comment that you did the wrong book?
Well, yeah, my wife. She was asking if I was supposed to do Discover Your Optimal Health book. I kind of took chapters 8 and 9 out of the habits of health. So.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I was actually trying to track with you, and I found a couple things that were similar. But, yeah, you were supposed to do this book right here, Discover Your Optimal Health. So,
whoops.
Okay, yeah, got it. So I thought it's pretty good, you know, because the books do parallel for each other, and this is me basically playing off but I wasn't going to stop you, man. I was looking and trying to find the correlation, but I thought I would just edify you regardless.
My bad.
Hey, it's all good. So we'll have we'll do chapters 8 and 9 next week from the Discover Your Optimal Health. But what Tim did was the Habits of Health book, and my copy is let me see. Right here. So this is the book we just did a review on, but we'll go into this one next week. So any other questions or comments? Maybe that's why nobody else.
I'll take that one for next week, so I'll do the correct book for next week.
I love it.
And Alex?
Please.
Alex, it's Christy.
Yes.
I forgot to start my video. I think we might have skipped a chapter, because last week we did 5 and 6.
Okay.
Because you said that, and I was like, oh, well, I read 7 and 8, and 7's like my favorite.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we had
my favorite, but that one's the thing about course correction.
Yeah.
And that was like a game changer for me. So
well, I love it. So why don't we do this real quick? Why don't you do a quick summary of chapter 7 right now? You get 2 minutes. Go ahead. Give us the 2 to 3 minute version of chapter 7, and let's bring us there. And we'll take that up, and then we'll do chapters 8 and 9 next week.
I should have kept my mouth shut. Oh,
Go for it.
All right. Well, this one's called Your Health Guide and Compass. And it's for me, it was just pretty much a game changer. And I guess the game changing, there were so many things that I like highlighted in it, and so many things that just like I went, oh my goodness, there's great questions, because it's talking about motivation. Great questions that you can like use with people. Great questions for yourself. Awesome. But then the part of it that is talking about your health compass was he did this analogy of the Apollo 11 mission.
Yeah.
And how often it was off course. It said that it was actually on course only 2% of the time. That 98% of the time the spacecraft was actually off course, and it had to correct. They had to keep correcting to get on course. And I use that little analogy. I find myself using that a lot especially with clients, because they'll go, oh my gosh, I ate a French fry, and they just feel like, okay, well, I ate a French fry, I just blew my day. I might as well just blow my day. And I can remind them, no. The very next choice can be, you can course correct. Let's course correct. Isn't it awesome? We can just course correct. And so kind of getting them to break that little lie in their head that says, oh, you blew the day, go ahead and blow it big. And just tell them, oh, gosh, my very next choice, I can course correct. I'm course correcting, getting back on course. Here I am, my little spacecraft. I'm going to get back on course. So that for me has been an game changer in how I can coach and how I can encourage people. And just that idea of having a compass, a health compass to kind of, that for me has been just a fun little concept to keep in my head. So that's all I'm giving you on this chapter, but definitely if you haven't read it yet, make sure you read it. It's really good.
Well, I appreciate you for bringing that up, because this is such an overlooked area, like you said, and most people do want to beat themselves down, and they just want to wreck the whole spacecraft because of one little off-course thing, when in the reality, success is getting back on track. That's really what success is redirecting yourself when you're off, and I like that. And that is an analogy that I would encourage everyone to start using more, is to let people know that's why we're here together. That's why I'm here to help coach you and guide you. I'll be your gyroscope, and that's what they keep it on. I'll be your air traffic control. I'm not emotionally in your life, but I'm on the outside looking at the actions and behaviors, and I can help you reorient yourself back to what you want. Love it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So there you go.
Okay, good. Thank you for doing Chapter 7 for us today. Sure. And again, Discover Your Optimal Health book is, if you haven't read it, it's just phenomenal. And there's a great support call that Kelly Reif did where she kind of gives an overview of the book. It's about 2 weeks ago that she did it on the Habits of Health call. Okay, with that said, I think we're going to have Martin share with us a bit about, if you can do your 3 to 5 minute version, Martin, on the Greg Rex and what's his girl's name? Whitney Kell.
Yeah. Whitney Kell. And I'm going to do it in 2 minutes.
We I love it. 2 minutes. I got the timer going. Have fun.
So here we go. They were talking about emotional intelligence. Mm-hmm. And we have three areas in our personality. Personality, the IQ, intelligence quotient, and our emotional intelligence, or emotional quotient. IQ is fixed. We can't do anything about that. Emotional quotient, we can. And I'm going to start off with one quote. If you want to change your life, read a good book. What 2 books should you read? So they were talking about this book, and I'm just going to read a quick quote out of it. Your EQ is the foundation for a host of critical skills. It impacts most everything you say and do each day. EQ is so critical to success that it accounts for 58% of performance in all types of jobs. Over 50% of your performance is your EQ. All of the people that we studied at work, we found that 90% of the high performers are also high in EQ. On the flip side, just 20% of the low performers are high in EQ. If you want to grow your business, you can develop your EQ much faster, or actually farther than you can with your IQ. So if you want to transform your life, read a good book, start here.
Wow. That was great. And I think you might have even been in her too. I've read the book, and I have it on audio right now, and I listened to it. I was just driving home in the car and listening to it again. Because one thing I've learned is not to just read a book, but to live a book, right?
Yep.
And EQ is something you can work on the rest of your life and never master it fully.
Yep.
Because of go ahead.
Oh yeah, but I mean, but I cut you off because I was poor emotional intelligence. But I took the test, and there were some areas I thought was pretty good. And I went, oh wow, I've really fallen back. I used to be really good at this, and now I'm weak. I need to strengthen those skills, and if I can strengthen those skills, I can strengthen that part of me and become not just physically strong, but emotionally strong.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny because I think people who have a higher EQ will naturally score themselves a little lower than they're actually going to score, whereas people who don't have such a high EQ will probably score them higher. I was one of those people who thought I would actually get a fairly high EQ score. And what I realized is I just kind of talk myself out of situations, but ultimately I shouldn't have to talk so much. And so that's phenomenal is what I learned about EQ is that, yeah. So I would encourage everybody to read this book when you're ready for that growth. If you're not, you're going to be like just whatever. I've had people I've recommended the book to, and they read one chapter and it goes nowhere because they're not ready to make the change. But if you're saying, you know what, I want to become a much more effective communicator, a much more effective friend, a much more effective lover, spouse, whatever, empathetic coaching, everything, this book really does challenge you in a good way to expand your borders. I love it. Thank you for reviewing that.
Yeah. Well, and what I did in the middle of watching that seminar, I actually got on Amazon and I placed my orders. So the book was coming even before they were done doing the webinar. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Well, does anybody else have any comments or quotes about just what you heard about IQ versus EQ or questions? Because Martin actually has been reading this really well, and I've read it too, so love to interrupt me if you'd like to. I do want to direct you to an underlooked resource that we have, and we have something called Trilogy Training Systems. And under Trilogy Training Systems, there is a really great webinar that Dr. A did on emotional intelligence. And Greg Rex refers to that webinar on emotional intelligence. And if you have not watched it and you feel like this is an area that you would really benefit from, I would encourage you to find that webinar or to check with your mentor to find out where it is. Another great resource to find things when you can't access your mentor right off the bat is to go on the Miller page or on the Optimal Health Coach. If you can mute your audio, whoever's got background people talking. Basically, is on the Miller page. If you're not on the Miller Facebook page, get on the Miller Facebook page. And so you can post on there saying, hey, does anybody know where the Dr. A video is on emotional intelligence on Trilogy? Because sometimes things are hard to find. Or how do I find or source? You'll get an answer back from probably 10 people giving you the same thing, but it lets people share and be a resource. So don't always have to go to your mentor coach for just logistical stuff. Okay, thank you. So, just for the people that were on the phone call that couldn't see the video, I was holding up two books, Emotional Intelligence 2.0 and Dr. A's Discover Your Optimal Health.
Thank you. Yes, when you said there's two books that can help you, yes, thank you. And that Emotional Intelligence 2.0 book can be found on Amazon. It can be found at Barnes & Noble. It can be found on Kindle and any of the Audibles book resources. So great. Okay, with that, let's move on. Sam Prestonbach, are you available to chat with me on the video? How you doing, lovely?
I'm having a few technical difficulties today. I'm sorry. So
okay.
I think I got it figured out now.
Yeah, it says your bandwidth is low, but we can hear you and see you just fine for right now, so that's great.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Excellent.
Hey,
excellent.
everybody.
Hello, hello. Did you have anybody who was going to share anything from the leadership call today?
I do. One of my clients and quickly becoming one of my great friends and somebody I just really enjoy talking to and learning from as well. Her name is Allison Kate. Miss Allison Kate is soon to be one of our newest health coaches on our team, and already showing some great potential. Just the way that she thinks and her actions just shows that she's going to do some great stuff. So I'm excited to introduce her and to let her share her thoughts on the leadership call today.
So nice
Allison,
to have you on the Yes, Allison, it's so nice to have you on the call. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks. I'm just going to turn on my face so you can see me.
Look at that.
I told Sam earlier I didn't want to because I have a really bad default face. So I don't, maybe sometimes I might look meaner. I'm just not.
It's a default face. I love it. Oh,
yeah.
She's definitely not mean. I can tell you that.
Good.
Oh, that does not look like
No,
that's not the default face. Yeah, that's.
I had my best friend in college literally would like come walk by me and be like default face, so I would know to like smile or something. So, I was told to share my thoughts. I'm not sure how many of y'all really want.
We'd like to hear about 3-minute summary on what you got out of leadership and why you thought it was something that we could apply in our life and how you might apply it. So.
Out of leadership, out of the video? Hold on.
What did Sam have you watch or listen to?
Oh, okay. So the call earlier in the week. I got it. Gotcha. It was good. It was interesting really to hear everybody's kind of thoughts on or like where they have been and come from. I guess it was really nice to know that I wasn't alone over here because I think, I don't know those guys personally, but it must be nice having a husband and wife in the same house, kind of just seeing each other. Because it's me and my daughter who lovingly likes the food. But that's been kind of nice to know that people kind of started at the same place that I did. And I've only been in the program with this going for week 4 or 5. And it has just, like everybody seems to think, it's gone, it's just completely changed everything. And really feeling everybody's attitude, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I told somebody today, I was like, everybody seems like really happy and like they really like each other. And every call I keep waiting for like the breakdown and like, you know, that to like stop, and it just doesn't. So it's kind of interesting. So if you'll have a bad day, it's okay. It's almost like Disney World on these calls. I was really glad when I found somebody kind of a grumpy mood at Disney World. But it was just nice if you continue to get that outpouring of support. And there's parts of, you know, coaching that I was very nervous about entering into, but now, you know, knowing that people have your back, it doesn't really make me nervous at all, or the fact that I can be very transparent in being nervous about certain aspects and just be okay. I can just be me and put myself out there a little more, which I've done. Posted something on Facebook that I never do, which was very risky for me, but I say, well, what do I have to lose? So I guess that's my thoughts.
Well, wow, that's a great summary. Sam, do you want to jump in there and share anything about Allison's share there? See if she's on or off.
Sorry, guys. Okay.
No, feel free.
No, I mean, when I listened to that leadership call, I was like, wow, you know, I think when you're new as a health coach or in any business, if you're an entrepreneur or whatever you do, you know, you learn really quick about branding and, you know, setting a brand for what it is that you do and you believe in. But what's cool about Take Shape for Life is they are so much more than a brand. They're truly like a culture. And when I listened to that leadership call, I was like, if there's anybody who, you know, is wondering about this business and what we do as coaches and what our mission is, and, you know, wants to kind of just take the pressure off of, you know, we're not out there just to sell. We're out there to pour, you know, Allison, you said it. You said, you know, we actually do pour into people. They tell you, pour into people and help them become what it is that they want to become. And so that call I just thought was so beautiful because it is, it definitely shows the true heart of Take Shape for Life.
something you said, Sam, and Allison was talking about it as well, is the support that you hear on the calls. And sometimes it does seem a little surreal. Like, really? Because in contrast to what's happening in the world, it seems so strange to have so much support. But this is an era that we're in right now. And we have to remember there are places and times that there was a lot more support and people were a lot more connected and they were a lot more unified. And so we kind of have to realize that for the most part is what we were actually called and created for, was that unity and that harmony, and to work together for a common purpose and to thrive, so to have this, it's almost like we're getting back to what we were meant to be doing, and we have to get used to that. And that's sometimes challenging because we're always waiting for when's the jig going to be up? You know what I mean? So
yeah, something because I walk with the job I walk in 10 different businesses a day, and I get behind the scenes and I see these people, and they're mostly not very pleasant. And you get to see that real person, I guess, after the first few days, maybe in those offices, and it's crazy the energy that just one affects everyone else. And you just haven't had this around here, and I think it's because when you go through some of the changes that are way more than the weight loss, your whole attitude changes. So it's just an interesting thing. This is kind of a collective group, and then going in these offices that I do every day, and it is very, very few that actually smile and genuinely look happy.
Mm-hmm.
I smile a lot and get stone-faced cold frowns back, but I get to walk out of there. So it's been interesting to watch.
And that's one of the things that we have to. People want hope and health in their life, and sometimes they just don't want to get hurt. So they're going to have to be in that guard mode for a while. But if eventually it becomes consistent enough, they can feel safe to crack that smile a little more, and especially if they develop the relationship with us. And one of the things, if somebody has got a little background talk in their thing, if they can mute, Nope, there's still some background. So if you could all mute when you're not talking, that would be great. Hopefully it's not mine, but I don't hear anything. So with that said, is that we can transparently, if we keep true to the mission and the cause, we can transparently invite people onto these calls, onto leadership calls, onto anything prior to them, quote unquote, getting in, and because we're not trying to really get anybody in. We're looking for people who want to partner with us and join us on the mission of getting America healthy and helping create, literally, not to be too cliche, the trilogy of optimal health: the healthy body, the healthy mind, and the healthy finances, and ultimately the healthy relationships and lifestyle. But what I love about it is that you can say, Allison, come on this call, listen to our training, because it actually, there's no change once it's the same before you truly become a health coach. And I don't know how to say it any better, but we really want to be the same before and after somebody's quote unquote in Take Shape for Life. And so I would encourage you guys, like I said before, to invite people who are skeptics that you really believe in, the core of who they are, onto the call. I have a gal I invited. She wasn't able to make it this morning. She's very interested, and she's kind of skeptical, like I was. And I just said, you know what? Why don't you compare this to that? Just be around and listen into calls for a while and attend some things. And, well, how much is it going to cost me? Nothing. Our mentorship, I know it sounds a little bit too good to be true, but I don't charge. Whereas in my other world, I charge $300 per hour for consulting. Whereas in this area, I don't charge. People are like, going, wait a minute, you charge me $300 per hour for that. Sam Prestonbach knows what I'm talking about, right? And then for this, you're not charging me anything. You're spending twice as much time with me, So, all right. Does anybody else want to share anything they care about with this?
Yeah, I just have one last thing to say on that topic. And, it was like I said to another client who was asking me questions about how to become a health coach. And, of course, was worrying about all the same stuff that I worried about in the beginning. Oh, my gosh, I have to call people, cold calling, making lists, just like everybody always thinks this is sales. And I told her, I was like, you know what? How I got over that was I just realized that my goal each day is just to wake up and be a good person. And so that means, like, if there's somebody on my heart that I've been thinking about and yet I never call them, I never text them, I never send them a card, I never, but they're on my heart to help, well, now I actually wake up and I call that person, or I say something on Facebook. It really, truly, that's what my goals are, and that's how my business has grown. I just wake up and say, I'm going to be the best person I can be today. So.
You know, something you just said that I don't know how to do this without having a lot of life experience to get people to this place, because it's taken me a lifetime to get to this place. But I wish, I don't know how to say, I want to say it with better words, but I'll just use the words that I have right now. I wish that we could kind of get to that place of more altruistic sooner than later. And that means like where you just really truly want to care and give without your own ulterior motive, you know. And it's tough sometimes when you have financial needs, because you're under that pressure where you want to get this person. But really, as soon as you get rid of that attitude or that mindset, you actually have a lot more people that want to join you. Would you guys say that's true? What do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kimberly, where are you at with things? What have you seen in your growth in regard to that? Like, as far as when you've had the mind of, I just really want to get this person, versus I really just want to help them, and if they join me, that would be great. I see you. I just wanted to include you in the conversation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you know, I find that it's like, you know, the game that kids play where they're trying to put a heart-shaped shape into a diamond hole, you know, and trying to shove it in and make it fit. It doesn't work. When you sit back and you let things happen, you're purposeful. It takes on a whole different meaning. It takes on a whole different life. It's purposeful. It's you're not pushing things. You're not trying to make things fit. I find the harder I try to make things fit, the worse it comes out, or it doesn't. It's not easy when it's like that. So just letting things happen, and the emotional intelligence that you get from this. I totally agree with you. I wish you could have it sooner than later, because it's a process that you have to develop in order to get where you want to go.
That's well said. I like how you talked about the two, where you have to basically, you know, and how you talked about the fitting, the star into the heart shape, and the growing in the emotional intelligence. Craig once told me, you're not going to go global, Alex. You're going to grow to global. And global is obviously a title, but really you become a global in your heart before you actually get the title, right? You become an executive director in your heart. Well, maybe an ED. You can kind of force ED, right? You can kind of force that one. I mean, I will say that personally. I did it wrong the first time, and then it took me 3 or 4 months to correct it, and I started doing it right. I'll explain that later to everybody. But when you're talking about leading and bringing other people on to your team, you know, people who are referring clients to you, people who are deciding to partner with you, that is about loving them enough. And I like what you shared in that. Very good. Does anybody else feel like they want to share? Because at this point, I want to kind of open this up for people to share some successes they've had this week, and to share just some things that they want to make sure we don't not cover. And if there's somebody that I asked to share and you haven't had a chance to share yet, please send me a chat or just say, I'm supposed to share this and I want to share it. Okay, I'm going to step into the director mode just for a moment. Dan, you're on the call with us this morning. How are you? I wanted you to know we see that you were on the call. Things well in your area? Unless you just left. You've got something else going on. I also see, I see Cottam on the call. Is there somebody named Cottam on the call that wants to say hello and where you're from and who you mentor with? I hear somebody whispering. Okay, let me see. Mrs. D is supposed to share the doctor's call. So Mrs. D, I'd love to hear the doctor's call from you. You going to give us a 3-minute version of that? You can unmute if you guys are trying to talk. And if you're gone, you're gone. Keep moving on. Okay, feel free to interrupt me, anybody who wants to jump in. If you've already had to go because we're getting close to the end of our time, that's fine.
Hey, Alex.
Yes, Christy.
Well, I just am excited about the Healthy Happy Hour, the Discover Your Optimal Health Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized that next Friday, the fun will all be over. I mean, at least until we all decide to do another one.
Yeah.
So I was just, I know one thing I noticed in the kit that you order,
Yes.
they don't include the planning guide. So if you don't know about this awesome little planning guide, it's an Office in Motion, and so you can definitely go find that because it's really, really helpful for knowing. It gives you a really cool agenda. Of course, you can tweak it, but it's not included in the kit, which I thought was really weird. So.
Yeah. I wonder if did they have the planning guide before the kit came out, or do you think it was an afterthought?
No, actually, I had this and printed it off. You'll see it's black and white because I thought, oh, I'll get the fancy one in my kit, so I'll just print this off.
Got it. Okay.
But there's not one in your kit, so go find this because it's really, really helpful.
Great.
And,
for those of you who don't know how to access that, you can go to your Office in Motion document library and then just type in what planning guide.
I would think so, yeah. Healthy Happy Hour Planning Guide.
Okay.
And also, where I found it originally was in the Coach Connection. And if you go back a few blogs, it's one of the ones where they first told you about the kit that you could order. And then it had all kinds of, flyers that you can print out and that are editable and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm getting excited about it, and I'm sure a lot of other people are. And I just wanted to mention, make sure you go find this planning guide because it's a no-brainer. You don't really have to think so hard.
Exactly.
So.
Well, no, I thank you for giving us that. And so what I want to do is I think we've got Miss D on the phone. Are you ready to share your doctor's call? We're going to do like the 3-minute version. And before you do, I want to say one thing to everybody. This next week just so you know, September is a really, really big month for people to want to get healthy. It's a month where people's lives get back to organization. Kids are back in school. They're closing out their vacations. They typically, the second week in September, have ended almost all vacations and really are looking to, most people have put on about 4 or 5 pounds over the summer as well. And they're looking to get back into some kind of structure. You just need to ask and say, hey, I've had a lot of success in this area. Is this an area where would you like support in that? And ask them, oh my goodness, the summer was great. Had a wonderful summer. I'm starting a Healthy Happy Challenge. I'm starting a Healthy Lifestyle Challenge or Get Back to Healthy Challenge. Are you looking to do anything for yourself? And invite them to join you. And if you don't know how to make that invite, work with your mentor. But if you up your actions to double up your invites to people, you're going to find September is going to be a big, big month for you. And then the last announcement I want to make is that September 19th to the 22nd, there's a group of us going to Florida to be with Dr. A, and they've opened this up now to all Take Shape for Life coaches. So it's going to be an amazing event at the JW Marriott in September. And if you would like to go, talk to your mentor about how I can help you or how your mentor can help you go there, even if finances are tight. If you want to be around the training and get the knowledge, we can help work it out for you. So with that said, Mrs. D, please give us the summary of the doctor's call. Ms. D, are you there?
Hi, everybody. This is my first time. Yes, I'm here. Am I here?
You are there.
Am I here? Okay, I'm here. This is my first time, so bear with me. Okay. There was only about 5 calls when I did the doctor call with the live support doctor's call with Dr. Nelson. And the first one was a 24-year-old client that was suffering from post-traumatic stress from losing her husband 4 years prior in Afghanistan. And she gained a lot of weight, being under, extreme emotional stress. And she was on the program for a couple of weeks, and she lost some pounds. But she was saying it was really hard to stay on the program because talking to her doctor, and she was having some acid reflux and some constipation problems and, just gastro problems and all. And her doctor advised her to get off the program. So the health coach was kind of saying, where do I go from here? And what Dr. Nelson suggested was that it was really her choice. It was really a choice that she had to make. If she wanted to, take some time off and just maybe she wasn't ready. And just to take some time off and just to support her in whatever choice she made, and to let and for him to let her know, can you answer that, please? Thank you. And to let her know that he was there to help in any way, to support her, and if by chance she ever wanted to get back on the program or whatever, just to keep it in mind, and that he was only a phone call away. And I think that was really good advice. The second phone call, was from someone who had a client with a thyroid history and was having what she thought was a reaction to the ready-to-drink shakes and cocoa, and she thought maybe it was a soy allergy, but in talking with Dr. Nelson, didn't think so. But then they thought she was having a reaction to maybe the whey, and it turned out not to be that either. But he suggested that the coach call the nutritional support to check the ingredients in the products, and because she was having a hit and wanted to know if she was having a history of any GI problems and everything, because we have to take that in consideration. The next call was from Debbie in California, and the health coach was saying that one of her clients was having trouble. I think she was an older lady, was having trouble with constipation, and of course, it's in our book, but that was a no-brainer. Just he really asked her to pass along the information to put a little more high-fiber vegetables in her diet, drink more water, walking and exercising, being active helps, and if indeed she needs something else, there's, Citracal and different things that would help with that, and that it should clear up, in a couple of days or whatever. Let's see. The next one was a client that had an eating disorder, which this was really interesting to me. She gets up during the night and she doesn't realize that she does get up during the night and eats food, and when she wakes up in the morning, she finds the evidence of eating maybe a peanut butter sandwich or whatever. So she was really concerned of what to do and what to say and how to help. But and Dr. Nelson said that if indeed she's not aware of doing it, the best thing to do would be get professional counseling and, see a healthcare professional. But if indeed that she was aware in some sort of way, to maybe the health coach decided to maybe suggest to keep a bar or something healthy that is on the 5-in-1 meal plan close to her bed, that maybe that would satisfy her and kind of keep her on the program. But that it was a choice, and maybe, the client needed to see, and be motivated by to see if she needed a little more motivation in it, or to seek professional help for it. And then the last call was
what I'll have you do on that one is I'm gonna have you then encourage us just to go ahead and listen to the call. Yes,
it was really, it really was interesting. Because Dr. Nelson was like, well, if she's not aware of it, it's nothing that really we can do. It's kind of out of our hands. But if she is,
That's exactly it. Well, I love it. I think your summary was great, and I can tell you, just because I want to encourage everybody to go listen to these calls if you're not hearing them. And that's what you've given us as a teaser into those conversations. And now we can go to supportcallsonline.com. Mm-hmm. We can go to Team Global Webinars and listen to the details, because as Mrs. D was sharing, I start thinking about certain clients' faces and names, and I'm like, wow, that would be good for so-and-so and for so-and-so, and I like that. And I also like the fact that we don't have to be the doctor. We don't have to know all that, and we don't have to coach our client that same way. We can lead them to these support calls, and we can actually call in with them if they're afraid to call in, and make the connection and say, and sometimes the clients will be on the call with you, and you, the coach, could just say, I've heard this before, I'm calling on behalf of my client. And they have this question or this concern, because maybe your client is a little more intimidated or timid, and they can just listen to the way the doctor answers that. And oftentimes, if you're not sharing exactly what the client's feeling, the client will actually jump in because they're on a three-way with their coach and say, well, actually, I'm on the call, and this is my situation. And I've seen that happen before, too, where the client just takes over. So with that said, let's use our resources. I want to end with a quote that Dr. A said again, and that is, we don't have to know everything. We just want to know where things are so we can direct people to where that information is. We can empower them, and then eventually, after they get a strong enough strength and enough endurance with this, we can hand it over to them, and they can take control of their health. And we're there to support and guide them to that. So with that said, does anybody else have any questions and comments about what Ms. D shared, or anything else about the call before we part ways today?
Now, I second that, Alex, what you're saying. Just to give people a little insider info, as a fitness professional for years, I thought I had to know it all. And all that really led me to being was an actually insecure fitness professional, because let's face it, who can know everything about anything? It's impossible. And so, take the pressure off yourself. You don't have to know everything, but just like Alex said, just know where to get it. Be a part of the support and not the only form of the support.
I love it. Very nice, very nice. And with that said, I want to just brag on a couple coaches. Cammie, congratulations on new clients for you. With a show of your hands or your words, how many clients did you help get started this week?
2 more. So I have a total, well, since last Friday, a total of 3. 3
people got going. That's great. And I think you just started as a coach last week, so you're on it. You're sharing the love with people. So congratulations there.
Thank you.
Yes. Does anybody else want to share about any, just a quick shout out about new people you're helping support and get started on their journey? All right. Well, I know there's a lot of you that that had success. All right. I think that's a good way to end this call on a happy note. Woohoo! Yes, I love it. I'm not even going to apologize for that. We'll talk to you all later. Have a great week.